So when you think about New Zealand hunting, it is honestly the mecca of hunting in the world. There's so many species to hunt, there's really no limits, there's really no seasons, and you can hunt from high fence operations all the way to magnificent public lands that you probably won't ever see another human. New Zealand also has some of the most dynamic, forward-leaning, forward-thinking, hunter-led conservation efforts, arguably on the planet. The Sika Foundation, the Fiordland Wapiti Foundation, specifically are gold stars in that standard of hunter-led conservation efforts. Those hunter-led conservation efforts help the herd, help ecosystem biodiversity, and also maintain trails and huts for the general public of New Zealand to enjoy, and also pretty much the world if they want to go and enjoy those public areas, those public huts. Unfortunately, every single year, there is one anti-use, anti-hunting organization that comes after both Sika and the Fiordland Wapiti Foundation, and that is Forest and Bird. And they specifically come after these efforts because, based on the legalities of the Wildlife Act, which states that all feral species in New Zealand must be eradicated/exterminated. Well, everything in New Zealand is a feral invasive. Goats, tahr, chamois, red deer, fallow deer, pigs, turkeys, peacocks, ducks. Some ducks aren't. You get my drift. Everything is non-native to New Zealand. So why does Forest and Bird decide to attack these gold star standard conservation programs? Because they just don't like the idea of somebody protecting an invasive species for an opportunity to hunt and utilize that resource. That's it. That's what it comes down to. So what the Sika Foundation and the Fiordland Wapiti Foundation are doing is they're trying to put in place a HOSI. A HOSI is a herd of special interest, HOSI, a HOSI. They've applied to the New Zealand government for HOSIs. The Game Animal Council has supported and pushed forward these applications. And the current Minister for Hunting and Fishing, yes, New Zealand has a hunting and fishing minister. James Meager is currently the Hunt and Fish Minister. It's the only hunting and fishing minister in the entire world. He is supportive of these HOSIs. So why do we need a HOSI? The HOSI protects those two herds, the Sika herd and the Fiordland Wapiti herd, from persecution. There's a lot of other things tied to it, but really it stops the persecution of those two herds of special interest. There is already precedence around a HOSI. It's technically not called a HOSI in the fisheries realm, in the water realm, but trout in New Zealand, arguably the most aggressive, invasive species in the water, has a HOSI designation, i.e. it is free from persecution. There is additionally a HOSI for a wild horse herd in the Kaimanawas. Again, probably an invasive species that does the most impact from its hoofs on the ground and ecosystems and fauna and biodiversity. It has a HOSI, i.e. free from persecution or removal, eradication, extermination from the landscape. The Forest and Bird's argument is valid from a legality perspective, but it's absolutely asinine from a practicality perspective. They're asking both of these organizations to stop what they're doing. Stop the suppression, the pruning of the herds of the Wapiti and the Sika. Stop associating a trophy quality to both those herds to attract hunters to come in to prune the herd. Stop doing your volunteer efforts of trapping the stoats, the hedgehogs, all of the critters that are affecting the native Fio ducks that are living in the rivers. Stop maintaining the trails. Stop maintaining the huts. I don't have to continue for you to understand how asinine that idea is. Fiordland Wapiti Foundation and Sika Foundation do it because that is the right thing to do. You do not see Forest and Bird doing the same thing in those landscapes. Not by a very, very, very long stretch of work. Oh, one more thing. Forest and Bird wants to kick them out and tell the government to do the work. The government doesn't have the budget to do the work. They don't have the manpower to do the work. Why would you get rid of a volunteer organization that's using their own fundraising dollars to do the work and tell the government, come in, use taxpayer dollars that you actually don't have to do the same work that we all know is going to probably happen at 1,000% of the effort that's happening right now. Everybody champion the HOSIs for Sika Foundation, the Fiordland Wapiti Foundation. Get behind James Meager, the Minister for Hunting and Fishing, and let's support these two HOSIs and get them across the finish line so that we can really perpetuate the work that both of these organizations are doing to the benefit of New Zealand's native fauna and flora, as well as the general public of New Zealand.